Welcome back to part 4 of the channeling session. Divine Masculine feels DF is a stone cold, a heartless stone cold brute. And this is the final part. And I'm going to straight away jump into the definition of, first of all, understanding the difference between the runner and the cheater. And I actually found this out. Bloop bloop sounds. I found this really interesting explanation on Quora, and it's written by a person called Pradnaya Pandit as a reply to the question posted by someone which said, do all runners cheat in the twin flame journey? Now what's interesting about channelings is that in between the channeling, especially every channeler has a different style or different way of getting the messages. Even if you watch the show Psychic Investigators, every channeler has a different style of getting the messages from the spirits that have passed over or who are trying to communicate with them. I think that's the same thing that happens with us also. In the past few years, I have developed certain styles and certain formats. And what I have realized that when I do this part series, and I don't go in one flow, which is like doing a 1 hour channeling or 2 hour channeling. When I divide the channelings, I also get energies. So when I shared part 1 and part 2, I got a lot of negative energies, and it was literally like a radio station where I could hear so many angry sounds and voices. For a minute, it literally was almost going to give me a headache. And again, thanks to the animal friends I have, they actually help me a lot in the work I do, which is something that I never knew or never thought what great impact they have on human beings. And then I also channeled a question. So before I explain the definition and read this answer, let me also read the question that I channeled, and I read the question after I received the answer. So I took like a nice long bath after doing part 1 and part 2 because the triggers were too strong. And you know, there are some people who get into a very mean zone and they start, cursing the person who is giving the messages out. And they can get very intense. And then you can see that if they are doing this to the channeler, what would they have said to the divine masculine? There is no forgiveness. There is no compassion. But we all go through these, even though we might not be going through this in an intense form, but right after the separation, there is an anger. Right after the ignoring, right after the blocking and all of those fights, there has been that situation. If obviously we knew any better, if the divine feminines, when I say we, I like to say we, I don't know why, I feel that connection with everyone. So when the divine feminines are in that zone, when the separation has just begun or the fights are going on, at that point in time, the poor souls, they don't know. They have not been treated in a manner, they have not been taught this in the parenting style or in the template that they had as to how to deal this type of insecurity in love. Like in a natural general situation, if a person says, hey, I don't know why, but I don't feel that you love me. I don't just see it. Like I don't know, I'm sorry, but I feel, you would not jump on that person and say, what? You think I don't love you? Oh my God. And then the other person reacts, oh, so are you trying to tell me that I'm wrong and I'm just making this up? Oh, no. You just want to actually just start a fight with me. Oh, come on. You're the one who's starting a fight. Oh, no. In the past, you have done so many mean things to me. Yeah, but I said sorry to you and we moved on. No, but you can't keep bringing this up. So I'm not taking the side of the divine masculine because I know that he's equally wounded. As I say that, I keep doing the readings for them and I do healing sessions for the masculines also, and in most of the cases they don't even know they are in a twin flame journey or they are a divine masculine. All they can figure out that they're running away from something or someone. So that's the interesting dynamic. And you divine feminines, you know that you are in the inner work journey and you're doing the research work. So the whole point that I'm trying to make over here is that These part series actually help a lot, because in between, when I take the gaps, a lot of those things happen. Because see, I have to keep doing my work and I have to do other things. So in between, I get a lot of signs and I get a lot of messages and the synchronicities. Oh my God, it's a lot, it helps a lot in my own inner work, because we do inner work every day. And as I had said somewhere else also, that inner work will become a part of your lifestyle. You will be doing inner work every day. Like for now, a lot of people think that, okay, inner work is happening only in the sessions or in the coachings or via the channelings, or if you have any technique or meditation practice or something you do. Well, no, inner work is something that you do all the time, constantly, because this life and this journey has been given to you so that you stay focused within yourself, inside yourself. All right? Now, the question I had channeled, which obviously I did not know who it was, but I channeled the question, and this was when I turned off the radio. When I turned off the radio of all the negative chatter and all the anger and all the triggers, because, even though these negative cribbing people are few, and I genuinely like to block all of them, so because that is the only way they will realize that they have crossed a line. In fact, this is what the DMs also try to do. They fight. They argue with the feminine. They try to do a lot of things, but the feminine does not understand, and eventually they block her because they don't want to do this anymore. And they are also hurt by that time. So even we do that on Facebook. If people, Facebook or Instagram or any other place, when we are having a really stupid argument with someone, a debate or something, and those people, they just don't want to listen to us, or they just too mean, or we block them. Now, blocking also in some cases means that there is something to be healed, but in some cases it's done because you just don't want to enter that zone, So at that point in time, I feel that it's better to turn off the radio. So I did not know there was a question like this, but it said that if any of my reactions or responses are just the reflection of the connection beyond any judgment of what is, it is the truth. If we have to find out whose fault is this, is also a judgment that creates separation, and instead of oneness, we have 4 different energies. Now I'll stop here. And you can read this comment. It's in part 2, under part 2. You can read, and you can also have a conversation, because I found this to be a very intelligent comment in the middle of those messages that I was receiving. So of course, so when we judge, now let's understand that what is this journey trying to tell us? It's trying to tell us that there is something that needs to be healed. There is something which is wounded. There are certain areas which we don't know about, and we only get to know about when we get a soul shock. So technically, we should not judge anyone for that matter. But when you are doing inner work, you will get into that mode at least once or twice. You should, because then you will try to figure out where is this coming from. And when you actually ascend in that assessment of yours, then you will find out that even the ancestors are not to be blamed. Even the parents are not to be blamed, because everyone is a victim of a victim. And thirdly, and the most important thing, is that you have volunteered to be on this journey. Now, you may not remember it right now, but when you go deeper and deeper and deeper into the inner world, then you will start getting a lot of things like your past lives, or you will start understanding, even the childhood things. You will reach in those days of your childhood, which normally a child doesn't remember otherwise, but you would have very clear remembrance. You will have scenes, you will have visions, and these are all later on stages. Eventually, when you are on the path of enlightenment, in the later on stages, all your past lives are revealed to you one by one. And when these past lives or these emotions are getting revealed to you, or when you are in the process of healing your wounds, you will, that's what we do when we coach people. We can see their wounds as well. We can see where they need to do inner work. And sometimes, it can be funny. Even, when you get a out of the blue, or you get a very strong psychic answer. sometimes psychics tend to laugh at it, or sometimes they get epiphanies at that time. Now for the other person who's getting the reading or who's asking the question, who's in a sad zone, who's probably feeling very bad, they would be like, oh my god, this psychic or this reader is so weird. They're finding it funny, or they're amused, or they're excited. They tend to get excited because of the information that comes to them is so accurate that the person who they're doing a reading for, that person also gets into a state of shock that how the hell did you find this out? How did you give me this number? How did you give me this date? Or why did I see you in my dream? Or how do you know that I have this problem or this pain or this something happened in their childhood? So basically it's just connecting with those areas. Okay, now I won't digress. I don't want to. So judgment is like when you are actually genuinely in the judgment mode, then you should be like a completely naked person, because no one is perfect. Now there is a song that I had shared. It was written or created by Louise L. Hay, but I created the composition. Besides, I really love the song and I really like the lyrics. It's like, I love myself the way I am. There's nothing I want to change. And so there are certain lyrics, and there is a statement, there is a line in that song that all the things I judge are done by people just like me. And then there is another paragraph, and you can check out the lyrics that I have shared, and you can watch the song, and you can also check out the work of Louise L. Hay, because I feel that she did a lot of work in the field of treating HIV, AIDS or cancer patients, and she herself got cancer twice. So she actually figured out a way to heal, and she was not in a twin flame journey as per whatever I figured out about her, because she lived alone. But that doesn't really matter. We are just supposed to learn. Anyone can be our teacher. Anyone wonderful like Louise L. Hay. So basically she had gone through a very difficult childhood, and she figured out, and after getting cancer for the second time, she figured out that the only thing that can heal people is forgiveness. Because till the time you don't forgive people, you learn the lessons. They say don't forget. In my opinion, once you fully forgive, that feeling goes away. It always goes away, and those people always come back because there's no baggage, and they also get the energy update. They also understand that, okay, the other person is just like me, there is no difference. So she came up with this treatment for HIV AIDS patients and cancer patients, where she would heal them via the love therapy, where she would talk to them. Like in my work also, I have to sometimes give people hypnotherapy. Now those people who have received coaching from me know this. Sometimes we do meditations together, and it's all about reaching to that places where you're scared to go alone. That's why you need a healer, or that's why you need a coach, or you need a therapist, or you need an expert. Now, twin flame journey is so interesting that a psychologist cannot heal people, because psychologists will simply give you pills, or they will tell you something like you have this disorder, that, blah, blah, blah. Disorders are something even we will tell you. I will also tell you, as much as whatever I have done research on. But for this twin flame journey, you need spiritual knowledge, which means in Hindi, adhyatmic knowledge. You have to be adhyatmic. You have to be spiritual by nature, and you have to have the experience of the pain, of the suffering. You need to know these things. You cannot go to a college and become someone who's on the twin flame ascension journey. These things are not in the college degrees or the theory sessions. This comes from practical experience of this journey, of this lifestyle, of this life, of being in ascension. So there is this very nice paragraph in this, and I'll just sing it out for you all. It says, I love you just the way you are. There's nothing you need to do. When I feel the love inside myself, it's easy to love you. Behind your fears, your rage and tears, I see your shining star. And I love you just the way you are. And I love you just the way you are. So in simple words, we all have imperfections, we all have problems. As much as we have problems, he has problems, your DM, you also have those problems, and you will be in a more mature place to handle a situation, and you would be so discerning, and you will be so brilliant in this department. It will come with practice, of course. I'm not saying it will happen in one day, but for some people the separation is very long also. But I'm sure even in the long-term separation they learn. If you get nothing, you also get experience. So that person triggered in it you because they did not take the bullshit, because some of the parts were more healed. So when they did not find that love coming from you, or that trust coming from you, or that freedom, because what attracted them to you is that you're a free soul, that you're a free bird. But when it came to intimacy, or when it came to love, or it came to in general the whole relationship with them, they saw that something was not right. And that was because you were not also completely there yet. And that is something you have to understand and believe and know, because what have you learned in the inner work journey? And I told you in the very beginning of part 1 that we are going back in time. In this channeling is meant for people who have already crossed the long-term separation, or they are in the long-term separation, but they're still trying to figure out that what is it that is stopping him to communicate with me. I'm getting all the signs, I'm getting all the synchronicities, I'm feeling very positive. That something is missing, because you also keep going back to those dark areas when you fought, or when you were angry, when you said mean things to one another, when he just walked out on you and you could not understand what the hell is going on with this guy. So all of those things, you keep revisiting it. And when you keep revisiting it, you're getting angry. So, of course, I don't want to judge those people who get triggered, but too much meanness is not good, because if you're going to be so mean on the external side, that means you're really not looking within yourself. Okay? So coming back to the comment which I was reading, so we have cleared the judgment part. What needs to be cleared? Instead of calling it judgment, we can say that we are just looking for areas to work upon. And thanks to the DM, we, got so deep into the inner work and the connection with the source integration, and then obviously the mission work. And slowly and gradually you will understand that all this was so stupid, like you were just acting out, and that romance angle will not even stay. It won't be important at all. And I'm saying that from my own personal experience, because few years back, like in 2009-10, I was a different person, and then later on in the journey also I kept thinking that, okay, romance is like this, and one should be acting in certain ways when you are in a relationship. But then I actually threw all those notions out, because those were all coming from programming. Those were all coming from societal programming on how a typical relationship should be, or how dating should be. But now in the twin flame journey, we understand that the divine masculine and divine feminines have very many differences from the societal point of view, from the society's perspective, not from their perspective, because they have genuine love for one another, and that's what unconditional love is all about. Now, let's not call it romance, we can call it attraction. There is a certain attraction, a physical attraction. That's why you want to be either friends, or they want to be boyfriend, girlfriend, or they want to get married, but there is certain attraction. So continuing the comment, I would say that if we have to find out whose fault is this, is also a judgment that creates separation, and instead of oneness we have 4 different energies. I had read that, so I just reread. Compassion is a self-protection tool, like forgiveness at first place. Karma will be served anyways. That's a very good point. Karma will be served anyways, but yes, you can reduce the karma, or this journey is all about getting detached from karma. So you do your deed and you forget about the result. When you don't have any result oriented thoughts like what will I get and what will happen, blah blah blah, then automatically your karma will get nullified. But this will only come when you are devoted. You gotta have devotion towards the source energy, and when you cut out the concept of doership, which means that you are not the doer, the universe is the doer, God is the doer, you are just a witness. You are just witnessing, you are just an observer. When you become a total clear witness, you will kill the doership factor. You will never say that I am doing this, I am the one doing this, I am the one doing this. You will say, okay, I am just in the middle. I am just you can say I'm just a medium. I'm just the way, just on the way, just like a gate, like a doorway. That's it. I'm just the vessel, I'm just the vehicle, I'm just the device. And as a soul, your journey is all about witnessing. So when you get into the witness consciousness, automatically the judgment that you have towards the divine masculine's behavior towards you, or your own guilt about being who you are, that will completely nullify, that will completely end. Okay, I know this channeling is so deep, like I'm also thinking, wow. But if someone is not, okay, so it's written does not, but if someone is not willing to face himself or herself, I would say, and always blame others, I will reflect. Now, it is not a punishment, that's ego, or because I get triggered, ego too. From the moment that there is no need to be with someone, what is the reason to involve to someone else's karma? Now, the reason why, okay, I'll take a pause here. The reason why divine masculine is in karmic connections or a karmic relationship, what is triggering you is like you feel, oh, they are so close to one another, they are like dating, or they are in a romantic situation, or they are a couple and they're doing couple things, which he did not do with me. He had a problem doing it with me, but he's doing it with her. And most importantly, they are getting intimate. This is what the divine feminines get very jealous and very insecure and very angry about. Who's honking? But practically, if you think about it, it's simply nothing but escapism, or not being sure, in confusion, because he was in love with you, you were in love with him, but then it became too intense and there were too many fights, or there were too many problems. And for some divine masculines, they also leave the divine feminine, they also run away because they think they are the problem in her life. They are the ones who should not be next to her, because if they're going to be next to her, they will ruin her life. They are a bad choice for her. And a lot of divine masculines back out because of that. They just feel that they are troubling her so much. They are a havoc in her life. Yes, there are cases like that. You may not believe it, but then that is true, because when you really love someone and you see that because of you that person is always crying, cribbing, complaining, fighting, getting angry, you just feel that maybe even if you love them to the moon and back, but you feel, no, I should just not be with this person because I'm not making this person happy. On the contrary, I'm making this person more sad and more hurt. Some of the divine masculines, they also leave because of this reason. And I've been told that. It was very hard for me to believe, because I was thinking, oh, this can also be a good reason to run away. Very genuine, a very affectionate reason actually, that you don't want to make someone unhappy because of you, so you decide to walk away. But then what happens in their journey is that they feel that, okay, let her be happy with some other man and I'm not the deserving guy, I will find someone else, and they do. And when they find someone else, they feel, because at that point they are thinking that I'm the reason, and I can live without her, so I will move on, I will live without her, and she can be happy with someone else. So they start hanging out with the karmic, or they get engaged, or they're like a girlfriend, boyfriend, and they give a serious commitment, because with you, the commitment stage was not happening because of all the fights and all the triggers and all of the friction that was happening between you both because of your wounds. Okay, we are clear on that. So with the karmic, it is even worse. Like initially it starts very nicely on a very good note, and he feels that, okay, finally he has some peace. Finally he can, be normal and, like have a normal life, or not feel so bad about his existence, his presence in someone's life, especially the person he loves. So he, in that zone, starts the relationship, but the relationship starts going really bad, to a level that he is tortured, to a level that he can't take it anymore, and to a level that he realizes that I don't know about the divine feminine's happiness, but my happiness is definitely with her, and I cannot be happy with anyone else. So actually, it's a very good thing. If they go to a karmic, you should be very happy, because you know that their ass is coming back to you very soon. They would be bringing that ass for you back. So you got to thank the karmics. You got to be like, okay, she's doing my work. Maybe she had a soul contract with you too before coming to planet Earth. And I'm going to do this with you because you probably had some karmic dealings to be done with her. So she became a part of this. Who knows? And this can actually happen, but I don't want to get into this right now, because again, these things can be determined in detail for an individual in a personal reading or a personal coaching session. In a situation like this where we are doing a public channeling, I would try to be, like resonate with all the people and give what I've been asked to do. I cannot go into details right now. So I will continue reading the comment. So I will let her be is exactly what the guy is saying. I will let her be my soul brother. And I'm not giving out the name because I have not taken permission yet. But you guys can look for his comment. And it's a public comment. It's publicly written. So I know there's nothing wrong. But still, next time onwards, I'll probably do a special shout out. Though I will give him a shout out. And I've already given him a shout out because you can find his comment. But I don't want, what if her divine feminine comes on this channeling? Well, she would be happy, isn't it? Anyway, so she will know how much he loves her. So I will let her be and I will move on just like that. What means hurt me? Okay, there's a typo there. I have healed that, doing what it needs, and every time she's coming back and she can see the progress. There is no intention here, only a clear mirror. So yes, that's a very beautiful way of saying that. Sometimes, ego is not getting triggered. It's also the self-respect quotient, because that self-respect problem is with the divine feminines, and that's why they're always very accepting. Every time he comes back, they're accepting. But when they go through a long-term separation and they do all the inner work, then they realize that when he comes back to me next time or again, I'm not going to be the same person. He cannot keep coming back to me without having a clear discussion on what went wrong and what has he learned in all this time of separation, and why is he contacting again, and what is it that, like, without being very difficult, like a normal human being, like a friend. When you meet a friend after a long fight or a long-term fight or whatever, then also you have some conversation, right? Or you meet in such a manner as if nothing had happened, because you have both learned your lessons. But this isn't just like any other friendship. When he comes back, he obviously will apologize, and he obviously will say that he loves you sooner or later, even if it's not happening in the first message, like boom on your face, but it will happen first, but don't be like a doormat, ready. But this is something that the divine feminines will learn on their own. And by the time the divine masculine will also realize, because the separation has been so long, he's been so scared to talk to her. He knows that she might just punch him, or she might not even respond, or she will downright reject him. He also does a lot of inner work in that process, and he learns how to communicate. Both of them lacked this thing. They both did not know how to communicate. But after long separations, generally, both of them learn how to deal with one another, how to treat their partner or the mirror. So this comment ended on a very good note, that there is no intention here, only a clear mirror. And this is exactly how I feel as well. And now, before I finish this channeling, because I think I have pretty much covered the energy, I will just quickly read what I found on Quora, written by Pradnya Pandit, in case anyone wants to know who wrote it. But I really found it relevant for this channeling, and I also bumped into it. It was sent to me, emailed to me. That is strange, right? Emailed to me just before I was about to do this channeling. So I was like, oh, this must go. Not this channeling, after the second one. So I did mention about it, but then I decided to do it in the end, so that when you are leaving this channeling, you have a perfect takeaway. Now, So question was, do all runners cheat in the twin flame journey? And the answer is that runner is a label, and this is exactly how I feel, and that's the reason why I'm reading it. So the disclaimer: runner is a label to describe the state of mind. It's not a role. Secondly, cheating is irrelevant in the context of twin flames. Why? Because in twin flame connection, often the two people will meet and disconnect. They will be in pain, which will trigger their lesson learning and awakening at some point of time. It's not about a conventional romance where two are committing to each other as a couple. Though it can start with a conventional romance, but most likely it will proceed with dramatic events, runner chaser cycles, fights, which will churn out past negative karma, inner issues for healing, throwing challenges at both to come out of the 3D templates of the unconventional love relationship, because you guys know that you guys, I'm adding this in between, are unconventional. You're not like the typical couple, right? So when you're unconventional, then it will be unconventional experience. Hence, your twin flame can move on from you, can be with someone else, marry someone else. One cannot put a label of cheating to a twin flame. The term cheating comes from the template of the relationships which have do's and don'ts, which are more relevant to a karmic connection. And that's why he ran, right? If he wanted to two-time you or cheat on you, he could have done that. But he did not, because that's not how divine masculines are designed. Your twin flame will always be a special connection with a special bond. Most likely they will always do things which are for your highest good. Wow. So as pre-decided before, you both incarnated here, and these things may not necessarily fit in your set of earthly expectations from them. They are here for your spiritual growth. So please understand, they are here for your spiritual growth. They cannot increase karma for you. Now this is something that I'm adding. So basically every person and everybody in the end lives behave in such a manner, live in such a manner that they end the karma. The cycle of life and death also depends on your karma, because if there is no karma, then why will you keep coming back? You are coming back because you have to clear the dues, the karmic debts and the karmic dues. So when you're on the ascension journey, your goal is to finish all the karma before you go to the other dimension, before you leave this planet. So your mirror also has to be a person who does not leave any karma. So whenever there is a karmic creation, all of this will happen, because now this karma needs to go. So if you're the wiser person, if you're on the ascension journey on the feminine side, you would be very careful of doing things, because you don't want to create karma for you and get stuck over here. Okay. So now coming back to the note. So we have soulmates to fulfill our earthly needs, expectations, and karmic gives and takes. That is not a twin flame's role. Twin flame connection is spiritual, eternal, above and beyond earthly templates of commitments and relationships. Expecting a twin flame to fit into conventional parameters of romance and commitment won't be ideal. So this is where I end my channeling session, and I'm happy to do this channeling session, because it helped me in my inner work in a way. And of course, you might not know what exactly I am doing, what am I into, what is the template that I'm taking care of, or how deep am I into the ascension journey. And that's not even required. Like, I'm not making a vlog about my life, right? For that, I have a different channel altogether. Now, this is specifically for your growth and development. So yes, I'm going to end this channeling session right here. Thank you so much for being here with me, and thank you so much for, resonating with one another and being there as a community. And thank you so much for all the love and faith you're showing in these channelings. I read all of your comments. They are wonderful, and it really doesn't matter where you're born, because the soul does not have any identity or any labels. The soul could be born in any body, any type of body, and the soul also does not differentiate. When it gives you the spiritual energy or the spiritual power, they don't see what your caste is, what your color is, what your creed is, what your earning is, your social status is, what your gender is. Soul will give it to you, the energy, the ascension, the powers, the gifts, without any discrimination. It completely depends on your inner work and your urge to be a real human being, because these energies, some people misuse these energies too, and then they create destruction. That's why these energies are not given to everyone. There are many stories of many demons and many asurs and many rakshasas in India who also did a lot of meditation, and they also got many gifts and many boons from it. They also asked the gods, literally asked them, like, how some magical beings can do that by the grace of God or by the grace of Guru. So they get those powers, but they start misusing it, and then it leads to their own destruction. So that's why I'm saying that if you're in the twin flame journey, you already have such a big mission. That itself is a mission. And then you would be helping out people, because though I am so happy right now, you hear me singing, I have a lifestyle and everything, but I also come across news about children, about women, about people in general, old people, young people, all types of people, animals, most importantly animals, because they are voiceless and they depend on humans. So as a human race, I feel that we all have certain responsibility towards the environment, towards the other sentient beings, and towards Mother Nature. We just should not forget that. And if we get this peace of mind, because all of the people who are on the inner work journey, they definitely get a lot of bliss, a lot of peace, a lot of, it's amazing to be in a zone of gratitude, in a zone of surrender, in a zone of harmony. It's like, oh my God, all my life I was running after stupid things, like things that didn't even matter to me. All those desires, because you have desires, you will suffer. Every desire comes with a suffering. And the people in law of attraction, they talk about desires, but really the actual genuine coaches, the real coaches, are trying to tell you to get away from desires, let go and let it happen. But of course, not everyone understands that concept. And I will be sharing law of attraction videos for sure, because I know that the right type of methodology can actually help in focused attention, and it can help in coming into union also. So that is part in the parking lot. So thank you so much for being here. One love, peace out. And I'm happy for all of you, my soul brothers and soul sisters. One love is the biggest, most beautiful message according to me. And I'm not giving a message like a message now, being me. I just felt like sharing this. Maybe it's a part of channeling. Who knows? I'm just channeling my higher self. Of course, channelers do that, but you guys also have lovely gifts. I'm 100% sure. And I just want all of you to make this planet a beautiful place. Save the children. Keep them safe. The people who really don't deserve to suffer on planet Earth are the children. And who would know this better than you? All right.